We just heard from a fellow who was in the Pennsylvania State House, Andre Butler, camping out to say to Tom Corbett, please take that Medicare or Medicaid money. Perhaps more to the point, right now, you and me, all of us taxpayers, subsidize massively large corporations. In fact, the largest corporation in America, the largest single recipient of our welfare subsidies is Walmart, because they pay their employees so little that their employees qualify for Medicaid and for food stamps. But that said, the city of New York, Mayor Bloomberg, just passed a rule saying, or a law, or whatever, however you call it in a city, I guess it's a law, saying that employers have to offer up to 5 paid sick days a year to their employees, which just seems to make sense to me. If I'm eating in a restaurant in New York City, and there's a lot of them, I'd like to know that the guy who brought my food out wasn't sneezing on it all the way out there because he was afraid that if he took a day off, he wouldn't be paid, and he was paid so poorly that he wouldn't be able to live if he took the day off, or he might lose his job. Scotty Nell Hughes is on the line with us, the news director and contributor to the Tea Party News Network, the website tpnn.com. And Scotty, do I understand that you actually think that employers shouldn't have to pay at least 5 paid sick days a year?
Listen, Tom, here's the deal. If we were in a wonderful economy where things were sitting here and thriving and money was growing on trees...
You mean like the stock market was hitting all-time highs and corporate profits were higher than they'd ever been in the history of the country? Which we are right now, by the way.
Oh, they are? That's great. That means that our economy is actually, everybody's got money and everybody's got a job.
At least from the point of view of the employers and the rich people, yes. Yes, they're doing very well right now.
Well, but usually rich people have to hire people to work for them. So if they have so much money, then... why are there so many people unemployed?
Because they're not hiring people.
Oh, they're just keeping the money themselves.
They are. They're putting it in Swiss bank accounts. They're putting it in the Grand Caymans. They're using it to buy a new yacht. But yeah, and the yachts by and large are not made here. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is, this is where you and I definitely have a differential, because I believe that what we have done in this country is we have attacked the small businessman, the man that is sitting there and trying to survive and trying to be able to hire people.
I am a small businessman. I don't feel under attack.
Well, how many people do you employ?
In aggregate, probably 13.
Okay, that's fantastic. That's wonderful. You don't feel like you're under attack in any way with taxes?
No.
Obamacare?
I am honored to pay my taxes. It's the cost of the infrastructure that I nakedly exploit, for this program. I mean, my employees all, to the best of my knowledge, all of them were educated in our public schools, and they bring that education to work. I don't have to teach them how to read or write. But the people who work with me, come here some of them by public transportation, some of them using public streets in their own cars. I'm pleased to pay for all that stuff. We're broadcast over the airwaves that are part of the public domain. Taxes are the cost of admission to a civil society, and the amount of taxes that I'm paying are not so great that we can't run this business. And in fact, I've been running businesses since 1972. And when taxes were a hell of a lot higher, when the top tax rate in 1972 was 74%, and I've never, ever experienced. And in fact, I was making so much money in the mid 70s that my CPA came to me and said, "You've got to stop taking so much money as pay and keep it in your small business." And so we developed a whole brand new line of products as a result of this, because you're starting to pass the 40% tax threshold. And it's crazy to pay that much money to the government in taxes. So I dialed back my own salary and put the money into the company. That's how it used to work, Scotty.
Well, it did, and that's when we had, obviously a thriving economy. But here's the thing, and I'm happy for you. I am thrilled for you, Tom. And it's because I think you have a good product that people enjoy and people listen to and find a use for. But tell me this, Tom. How many people do you know in our industry, in the radio industry, that has gone out of business this past year? I can name 5 off the top of my head that are no longer doing talk radio because they couldn't afford to do it. And that's the issue that we're sitting here talking about.
Yeah, I don't know anybody who's gone out. And I doubt those 5 went out of business because they were being taxed. Because if you're about to go out of business, you're making so little money that you're paying no taxes.
Well, but that's the thing. The majority, you have to admit, radio has downsized a lot. Sure. Over the last 10 years. Okay.
Largely as a result of vertical integration and consolidation. Yes, I will admit that.
And like I said, if we were in a perfect world, yes, I would love for employers to be able to pay for everything. Unfortunately, When you were talking back in the 70s and the 80s when you did start your companies, did the government tell you you must buy health insurance for your employees or you're going to be charged a fee? You're going to be charged a penalty fee?
No, they didn't, but I always bought the health insurance. In fact, I remember in the 70s that the Blue Cross Blue Shield health insurance policies in Michigan that we were providing to our employees cost us less than $40 a month and per employee. I remember that quite clearly. I hope I'm not wrong, but I'm quite sure that was it. But that was because Michigan law in the 1970s was that the health insurance company itself had to be not-for-profit, and they were, and that the hospitals had to be not-for-profit, and they were. And so you didn't have things like Stephen J. Hemsley right now, the CEO of United Healthcare, who has taken over $1 billion, with a B, $1 billion out of his company and added it to his own personal wealth. Or his predecessor, Dollar Bill McGuire, who, over a decade took $1.7 billion out of United Healthcare. These guys are getting rich off us, Scotty, and they're using the profit motive to do it because they've got us against the wall. It's wrong. But that's not my point. My point is, do you really want the server who's bringing the food to you in the restaurant to be sick?
No, and that's where it sits there, and you sit there and you hope that their boss and their management can say, you know what, I don't want you sick. I can't necessarily. I'm trying to make sure that this restaurant stays open so you can have a job when you are healthy. So to sit there and say that you must pay for 5 additional days, honestly, Tom, this is, in my opinion, just another version of entitlements that the government's imposing on the private sector, saying, nope, they deserve 5. They must have 5 days off. And you know what? At this point, there are people, when we have our welfare system, we have the unemployment numbers so high, people who really want to work then would take that job and would take that job without 5 sick days. But unfortunately, because in a lot of cases you're paid more to actually reap the system and work the system and be on welfare than you are to actually go and get a solid day's, honest work pay.
That's not true.
What's their motivation?
That's simply not true that people can make more on welfare than they can make working first.
Oh, no.
Unless you're talking about working 10 hours a week.
Work the system for $40,000. You can make up to $40,000 a year on those fantasy numbers that were published in that right-wing publication a few months ago that suggested that assumed that that one person was able to be about 5 or 6 different people, that they had this disability, that they had that disease, that they had this parent died, there were all these assumptions that were pretty much impossible for any one individual. Talk to people who are living on welfare. You will find that it is damn hard. It is damn hard. But this, again, I don't want to debate welfare with you. It's like, I don't understand why you would want to work in a workplace where people come to work sick and then the disease spreads around the workplace. This isn't good for business. No, but I would rather them, I think they should have the liberty to stay home without losing their job. I think that would make
Well, that's going to have to be enforced by the government.
Well,
are you calling for big government on that?
Discrimination cases, but that's not sitting there telling the small businessman that you must pay for 5 days.
I've started now when I walk into a restaurant saying, "Do you pay sick time for your employees?" And if they say no, I turn around and walk out. And I'm always
if they say
talking.
Yes, how long till they go out of business?
Yeah, no, if they say yes, they're one of the better restaurants in Washington D.C. I can tell you, I've been testing this out. But you walk into the fast food joints, do you pay sick time? No. And you're talking to an employee when they say it, by the way, and they're pretty steamed about it too. I think this is just a matter of decency, of common decency. But
we might disagree once again, Tom. But the good news is that we do agree that people do need to be working, and so any incentive that we can do to help that.
Yes, work is good. Scotty Nell Hughes, news director and contributor of the Tea Party News Network, tpnn.com. Thank you, Scotty.
Thank you, Tom.